Have you ever wondered, what is the deepest secret hidden in human history? What are the stories we were never meant to hear? The knowledge that was supposed to be forgotten forever? We are familiar with tales of creation, of great heroes and cursed villains. But what about the torn pages of history? The whispers from the past, sealed by time and by forces that don't want us to know? Today, we will together uncover a lesser-known chapter of history. A story filled with raw truth and fateful choices. A story that will make you rethink the nature of good and evil, the power of knowledge, and the burden of responsibility. This is the story of Enoch, son of Cain, and his forbidden book. This isn't just an ancient myth, not just a distant legend. This is a powerful reminder of the potential within each of us, of the weight of the decisions we make, and of our ability to shape our own future, be it for destruction or for salvation. And remember, this is not the Enoch you usually hear about in biblical stories. The one said to have walked with God. This Enoch is the son of history's first murderer, Cain, the one who stained his hands with the blood of his brother, Abel, and was cursed to wander the earth. The life of this Enoch, along with the book he left behind, will take us on a journey to explore the deepest mysteries of the ancient world, and perhaps, even of ourselves. Be ready, because what you are about to hear may change how you perceive history and the nature of humanity. To understand Enoch's story, we must go back in time, to the beginning of humanity's tragedy. It is the story of Cain, the firstborn son of Adam and Eve, who committed the world's first murder. Cain, a farmer, offered fruits from his crops to the Lord, but his offering was not accepted, while that of his brother, Abel, a shepherd, was. Envy, a primal and destructive emotion, burned in Cain's heart, leading to an unforgivable act. He murdered Abel. That act forever changed Cain's fate. He was cursed to wander, never finding peace or stability on earth, an outcast murderer, bearing the mark of sin. But even in that isolation and torment, the instinct to survive and the desire to build arose in Cain. He, who had destroyed a life, became the founder of a new civilization. In his wandering, Cain built humanity's first city, a city erected from pain and regret, but also a symbol of human resilience and adaptability. And he named that city after his firstborn son, Enoch. Imagine the city of Enoch. This was no simple settlement. It was a center of innovation, a cradle of creativity. Within its walls, people began to shape their lives in unprecedented ways. Music echoed through the streets, the first melodies created to soothe souls and bring joy. Art flourished, with drawings and carvings telling stories of life and existence. Metallurgy developed as humans learned to extract metals from the earth, transforming them into tools, weapons, and even splendid ornaments. Animal husbandry became an important profession, providing food and materials for the growing populace. People began to construct more complex structures, create rudimentary social systems, and forge a distinct culture. The city of Enoch is a testament to humanity's extraordinary ability to build from ashes, create beauty from pain, and shape a new world from chaos. It was a place where people began to form communities, develop trades, and create a distinct culture. A place full of promise, a symbol of progress, where humanity's first dreams and ambitions were ignited. And it was in this unique city that Enoch, the son of Cain, grew up. He was a living witness to both the greatness and the depravity of a fledgling civilization. He saw humanity's remarkable development, but also felt the lingering shadow of original sin, an indelible scar from his father's actions. It's important to remember that this Enoch is not the more commonly known Enoch from the Bible, the one said to have walked with God and not experienced death. Our Enoch, Cain's son, had a different destiny, a different mission, and an even more mysterious and controversial story. He was a unique individual, destined to witness things no other mortal had ever seen, and to record them in a book that would be forbidden for millennia. It was in this flourishing yet contradictory prosperity that the seeds of depravity began to sprout, hidden beneath the guise of progress. And Enoch, the son of the first murderer, would witness it all. He would be the one to record the darkest secrets, the hidden truths no one wanted public, the things that would forever haunt human history. As the city of Enoch grew, a shocking event occurred, forever changing Enoch's life and revealing a horrifying secret about the origin of evil on earth. Enoch began to receive visions from heaven. These were not mere dreams or fleeting thoughts. They were vivid images, powerful messages, and raw truths revealed directly from the divine realm. Enoch didn't seek these visions, they came to him as a burden, a mission he could not refuse. He felt overwhelmed, terrified as he saw things mortals were never supposed to see. Secrets that should have remained hidden forever. Truths that could shake the very foundations of the world. And in those visions, Enoch was revealed a terrifying tale, the story of the fallen angels, also known as the Watchers. Who were these Watchers? They were a special group of angels, entrusted by God with the noble task of observing and guiding humanity. They were placed in a high position, with power and wisdom far exceeding humans, capable of seeing and understanding things mortals could not. But power comes with temptation, and wisdom can lead to arrogance. Their fall began with lust. They broke their sacred their vow to serve and protect humanity. When they saw the beauty of human women, they were irresistibly captivated. It was a misguided choice, an act of betrayal against their original purpose, a grave violation of heavenly law. They not only yearned for but actually procreated with humans, creating an unnatural blend of the celestial and the earthly, a hybrid that should never have existed. But their sin didn't stop there. They didn't just take human women as wives, they also shared forbidden knowledge. Secrets humanity was never meant to know. Imagine, they taught humans how to forge weapons, destructive tools, sharp and deadly, leading to widespread warfare, violence, and death. Before that, humans might have only known simple tools for survival, for agriculture, for building. Now, they held the power to slaughter each other, to cause bloody conflicts. They taught humans how to make cosmetics and jewelry, things that initially seemed harmless, but led to vanity, arrogance, and moral decay. People began to focus on external appearances, on superficial glamour, forgetting inner values and the core essentials of life. They imparted knowledge of magic, charms, and divination, practices that distorted God's will, leading humanity astray from the path of truth, seeking power in dark places, and associating with unclean forces. The consequences of this intervention were catastrophic. The nascent civilization rapidly plunged into depravity. Morality decayed beyond recognition. Violence escalated uncontrollably, and the world became defiled by sinful acts, by greed and cruelty. Chaos spread everywhere, and the natural balance was broken, pushing the world to the brink of destruction. And from the unnatural union between the Watchers and human women, a new race was born, the Nephilim, the giants. They were not just physically gigantic beings, with extraordinary strength and boundless brutality. They were also symbols of the chaos and imbalance caused by external interference and the abuse of power. The Nephilim were oppressors, rulers, causing terror and suffering to humanity, devouring everything in their path. They possessed both human and angelic natures, yet displayed the worst aspects of both, becoming terrifying monsters. Enoch, with these earth-shattering visions, was given a paramount task, to record all these things in a book. This book was not merely a personal diary or a collection of stories. It was a secret document, a warning, a prophecy of what had happened and what was yet to come. The purpose of the book was not to judge, but to understand the root of wickedness, to record wrongdoing, and to remind of the inevitable consequences when humans and supernatural forces abuse power and knowledge. Enoch's book contained a raw and painful truth. Sometimes, the very craving for knowledge without responsibility, or the abuse of power, can lead to destruction. It is a powerful warning of how the wrong choices of a few can bring disaster to all, and how external intervention, even if initially well-intended, can lead to irreversible decay. It is a story of the loss of innocence, and the birth of a world riddled with sin and violence, a world slowly sinking into darkness. With these horrifying secrets revealed, Enoch now carried an unimaginable burden, the burden of a messenger. He was not just a scribe, he was also the herald of a terrible prophecy, a warning of impending destruction. In his visions, Enoch was shown God's deep sorrow over the corruption of humanity. The earth, originally created in perfection and beauty, was now defiled by the sins of the Watchers and the brutality of the Nephilim. Wickedness had spread to an irredeemable extent. Every corner of the world was tainted. And so, a terrible judgment was decreed, the Great Flood. The Great Flood was not merely a cruel punishment, a divine wrath. In this context, it was also seen as a thorough cleansing, a way to wipe away all defilement, every trace of sin and chaos caused by the Watchers and Nephilim. It was an opportunity to start over, a new beginning for humanity, a world cleansed of harmful influences, a blank page to write a different story. Enoch witnessed that destruction in his visions, a horrifying but necessary sight to restore the order and balance the world had lost. In his role as an intermediary, Enoch undertook a challenging and heartbreaking mission. He was tasked by the angels to bring the Watchers' plea to God. The Watchers, realizing the dreadful consequences of their actions, begged for forgiveness. They wanted amnesty, to be restored to their original position, to escape their decreed fate. This was a difficult role for Enoch, a mortal standing between angelic power and supreme judgment, carrying the faint hope of the fallen. Enoch brought that plea before the throne of God, with all reverence and loyalty. But the answer made both the Watchers and Enoch realize the harsh truth. Their plea was denied. God declared that there was no forgiveness for what they had done. Their power had been cruelly abused, and forbidden knowledge had been spread, causing irreparable corruption, a wound too deep to heal. The emphasis here is a profound lesson about the consequences of actions and personal responsibility. Even with angelic power, with the nobility of their nature, there are limits to forgiveness when choices have been made and the repercussions are too great. Once the seeds of sin have been sown, and destruction has begun, sometimes there is no turning back, no second chance. This is not cruelty, but supreme justice, ensuring that every action has its consequence, and that no one can escape their responsibility. And after completing this difficult mission, Enoch did not experience death like other mortals. He was taken by God. This event was not a mysterious disappearance, an unclear vanishing, but a special recognition for his loyalty and the burden he had carried. Enoch was transformed and taken directly to heaven, protected from the depravity of the world whose destruction he had just witnessed. This was a special ending, symbolizing a trustworthy messenger who had faithfully completed his mission. Despite the dangers and horrifying truths he faced, Enoch fulfilled his mission, delivering a warning not only for his time but also for us today. His story reminds us of the importance of listening to the truth, no matter how hard it is to hear, and of holding ourselves accountable for our choices. It is a reminder that, even with supernatural forces intervening, ultimately, humanity's fate lies in the choices and actions we ourselves make, and that we have the power to change the course of history. Enoch's book, a document containing shocking secrets about the origin of evil and impending judgment, had a tumultuous journey through history. Its fate is as mysterious and dramatic as its content. Surprisingly, initially, the Book of Enoch was highly respected and widely accepted. In early Jewish communities, it was considered an important text, providing profound insights into angelology, demonology, and prophecies of the end times. It was an integral part of their religious thought. Early Christians also highly valued this book, seeing it as a precious source of knowledge about the spiritual world and upcoming events. Did you know that in the New Testament, specifically in the Epistle of Jude, there is a direct quote from the Book of Enoch? This not only shows its widespread influence on religious thought at the time, but also serves as clear evidence of its acceptance in the early days of Christianity. Many influential early church fathers, such as Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, and Clement of Alexandria, also considered the Book of Enoch a valuable religious document, even using it in their sermons and treatises, seeing it as an indispensable part of explaining biblical events and doctrines. Clearly, the Book of Enoch was once an important part of religious thought, helping to shape the beliefs and understanding of many about the spiritual world and God's plan. However, as Christianity evolved from a small, dispersed movement into an organized and powerful institution, the fate of the Book of Enoch began to change significantly. Church leaders began to question the authorship and canonicity of the book, considering whether it should be included in the official biblical canon. There were many reasons for this prohibition and suppression, reasons that reflect the complexity of forming a religious doctrine and institution, its speculative and mystical nature. The content of the Book of Enoch was too different, strongly mystical and apocalyptic, delving into details about angels and demons, about heavens and hells, which church leaders found difficult to control or interpret uniformly. They feared that these stories could cause confusion, misunderstanding, or lead to heretical sects, weakening the unity of the church, distinguishing Christianity. As Christianity sought to define its own canon and clearly separate from older Jewish traditions, especially those deemed dangerous or pagan, the Book of Enoch became a candidate for exclusion. The fact that it was not written by one of the mainstream biblical figures or apostles made it easy to set aside. Despite its undeniable influence, concerns about power and authority, the story of fallen angels and forbidden knowledge could be misinterpreted, causing confusion or challenging the church's authority in interpreting the Bible and spiritual matters. Accepting a text with such novel and dangerous content could undermine their control over the beliefs of the faithful. And so, the book was gradually removed from the canon, banned from circulation, and even actively destroyed. Thousands of copies disappeared, burned or buried, and for centuries, the Book of Enoch was considered a lost book, only vaguely mentioned in other ancient texts, like a whisper from the past. But miraculously, this book did not disappear completely, thanks to the perseverance and strong faith of the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. The Book of Enoch was astonishingly preserved. This was the only Christian community that continued to consider the Book of Enoch part of their canon, safeguarding it through centuries. Despite suppression and neglect from other churches, they believed that this book was an important part of divine revelation, and passed it down from generation to generation. And then, in the 18th century, the Book of Enoch was rediscovered. European explorers found copies of this book in Ethiopia, sparking academic interest and a new wave of research. But it wasn't until the 20th century, with the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran, which included many manuscripts of the Book of Enoch, that the antiquity and authenticity of the text were undeniably confirmed. This was a historical moment, when a cursed book, forgotten for thousands of years, was found and its value recognized, a testament to the fact that truth cannot be buried forever. The journey of the Book of Enoch is an incredible story of hidden truth, of how suppressed ideas ultimately find their way back into the light. It shows the power of faith and perseverance in preserving what they believe to be true, and is a testament to the fact that history always holds secrets waiting to be discovered, stories waiting to be told. So, after all these stories about fallen angels, the Nephilim giants, and a forbidden book, what does the Book of Enoch mean to us today? Is it merely a distant historical or religious document, or does it carry timeless lessons for our modern lives? I believe that the Book of Enoch is not just an ancient book. It is a mirror reflecting the grand conflicts between good and evil, between order and chaos, conflicts that continue in our world. It speaks to human nature, to the temptations of power and knowledge, and to the consequences of choices. Let's reflect on the themes that the Book of Enoch raises, and how they relate to our lives. Responsibility with knowledge, just as the Watchers abused forbidden knowledge. We today live in an era of exploding information and technology. Artificial intelligence, AI, biotechnology, and social media bring extraordinary power, capable of changing the world in ways we've never imagined. But are we using them responsibly? Or are we letting them lead us down unforeseen paths, to unintended consequences, just as forbidden knowledge corrupted humanity in Enoch's story? This is a powerful reminder that, with every step forward in knowledge, our responsibility must also increase, and we must carefully consider the impact of what we create and use. Consequences of actions. The story of the Great Flood is a clear demonstration that every small choice, every individual and collective decision, can lead to great, even catastrophic, consequences. In a connected world like today's, one person's actions can affect millions of others, and the decisions of one generation can shape the destiny of many generations to come. The Book of Enoch reminds us that we cannot escape responsibility for what we do, and every action has a price. The power of truth. Enoch's book was forbidden, destroyed, but ultimately found its way back into the light. This shows the enduring power of truth. Even when truth is hidden, distorted, or suppressed by powerful forces, it can still find a way to emerge, to be recognized. This encourages us to continuously seek truth, not to accept everything blindly, and to always fight for what is right, even when it is difficult. Facing uncertainty. Just as Enoch had to face unprecedented secrets and prophecies, things that shook his world, we too are facing complex and uncertain challenges in the modern world. Climate change, global pandemics, political conflicts, rapid social changes. His story teaches us about resilience and courage when facing the unpredictable, and about the ability to adapt to overcome adversity. And most importantly, the Book of Enoch brings a positive message, a glimmer of hope amidst mysteries and tragedies. The power of choice. Despite facing temptations or adversity, we always have the power to choose our path. We can choose creation instead of destruction, responsibility instead of irresponsibility, and truth instead of lies. Every moment is an opportunity to make a better choice. The possibility of redemption and new beginnings, despite great mistakes. The story of Noah, later, and the rebirth of the world after the Great Flood shows the ability to start anew and do better. This offers hope that, even when we make mistakes, We still have the opportunity to make amends, to learn from the past, and to develop into better versions of ourselves. Seeking truth. The Book of Enoch encourages us to continuously explore, ask questions, and seek deeper knowledge about the world and ourselves. It invites us to become truth seekers, those who are not afraid to confront mysteries and difficult questions, and those who always yearn for understanding. The story of Enoch and his book is not just a journey into the distant past. It is a mirror reflecting ourselves, the challenges we face, and the choices we must make every day. It reminds us that, even in the deepest mysteries, we can still find light to guide us toward a more positive life, a more meaningful life, and a better future for ourselves and the world around us. So, what do you think of this story? Is the Book of Enoch truly a forbidden book? Or is it an overlooked warning, a reminder of lessons humanity has missed? Whether you believe in its authenticity or not, the lessons it carries remain valuable to this day, about the importance of personal responsibility, the consequences of abusing power, and the resilience of truth. It invites us to reflect on what we know, what we believe, and how we use our knowledge. Think about the secrets you've uncovered today. Ask yourself, what knowledge is shaping your life? And are you using it wisely, to build or to destroy? If you found this video helpful, if it sparked your curiosity and made you think, don't forget to like, share this video with friends and anyone you think might be interested. And most importantly, subscribe to the Voices of Faith channel so you don't miss other fascinating stories, other mysteries we'll explore together in the future. Thank you for joining me on this journey to seek truth, on this path to uncover what has been forgotten. See you in the next discoveries.